It's day 2 in the Peak District, and we started off with a trip to the Heights of Abraham in Derby, where you need to take a cable car to get to the top. Shame it was such a wet day, but it was fun riding the cable car, and there are some great views at the top. So we're at the top of the Heights of Abraham. There's lots of places to eat and drink. There's Punch and Judy shows, things like that. One thing we never do in Britain is let the weather dampen our spirits.
It's a nice summery day and delightful on the beach, really.
Oh, there is a crocodile. I am a bogey.
Some of you might think chilly. I'm calling it refreshing.
As refreshing as the rain was, we headed underground to explore one of the caves on site. We're in these caves at the moment, and apparently they were used a lot for mining during the fire of London, because London was very low on lead. Anyway, I don't know how deep these caves are, but they're quite low ceilings. Mason Cavern has been open to the public since Victorian times, with the caverns being formed over 350 million years ago. It was so cool exploring this cave. We even spotted quartz and calcite. The calcite in this cave is over 300 million years old and has lots of healing properties. Once outside, we got some cool views of the surrounding area, even with the rain. That was a cool cave, lots of steps up, but there was railing and stuff, and they were in sort of 40-step increments, so it wasn't too bad. How pretty is this view? It's worth it for the view alone coming up here. The weather seemed to worsen, and all of the on-site restaurants were full with everyone taking shelter, so we decided enough was enough and made our way back down the cable car. Our next stop was the town of Bakewell. As we drove through the countryside, the sun began to shine, and we took in the beautiful surroundings. Located in the Peak District, Bakewell is actually one of the bigger towns in the area and home to the Bakewell tart. So we are in the town of Bakewell, where the Bakewell tart originated. It's quite crazy because it's bank holiday weekend, so there's a lot of traffic and people rushing to find a place to park, which we were just doing now. But it's a quaint little place, it reminds you a little bit of the Cotswolds. It is said that the Bakewell pudding came about from a jam tart that went wrong, and there are many bakeries in the area that celebrate this delicious creation. So Bloomers of Bakewell has been around for over 100 years, but what made it famous is its iconic Bakewell puddings, the recipe for which is over 135 years old.
I love Bakewell tarts.
I wish you could smell those fresh pastries, they're absolutely delicious.
Hi.
Once we bought our tarts, it was time to finally try a Bakewell pudding, so let's do a taste test. Me and Tika both tried Bakewell tarts before, but never a Bakewell pudding, so I'm really excited to try it. And also, we had to try Bakewell tart as well, even though we've tried them before, because you can't be having a Bakewell tart in Bakewell. You excited to try it?
I am. I didn't even know there was a Bakewell pudding.
It looks different, it's quite flaky. I'm so curious to try it. Right off the bat, the top is quite soft and the bottom is quite dense and moist. It smells like marzipan. that is very unique. It's very soft and moist with like a kind of old school pastry around it. It's a bit like a sausage roll, that sort of flaky, soft pastry. It's completely different to a Bakewell tart. The marzipan taste is there, but that's about it that's the same. The rest of it's very, very different.
That's really, really nice. So with a Bakewell tart, the soft gooey bit in the middle has an almond flavour running through it. This is like a much more intense version of that. But having said that, it still tastes really mild when you're eating it. You could literally eat loads of this. It's so gentle. It's really nice.
I think going on what Tig said there, it's basically like the middle of the Bakewell tart in that consistency, but kind of diluted a little bit with the pastry, because the pastry kind of takes away from the flavour because the pastry is plain. It's not seasoned or anything. Oh, we've got some jam now. Ooh, that changes everything. I can now see where Bakewell tarts, how they came about from this. Now the jam's there. Done. I really like this pie. There's nothing wow about it. The flavours are quite simple, but it's very tasty. I definitely think this still stands the test of time, and I really like the Bakewell pudding. Next, we had a delicious cherry Bakewell tart, which is made from short crust pastry, filled with jam, frangipane, and topped with almond flavoured icing and a glacier cherry. So let's try an original Bakewell tart, proper Bakewell tart from Bakewell. As much as I've had a Bakewell tart before, I've only ever had kind of supermarket bought ones. This definitely tastes better. I think the thing that I noticed the most is how buttery and crumbly it is comparatively to any other Bakewell tart I've had before. It's so good. There's much more jam than you get in a shop bought one. I love it. I liked Bakewell tarts before, but this one, next level. I left Tig to enjoy his tart before trying one last sweet treat. If we couldn't have eaten enough, we bought something that looked absolutely ridiculous. I don't think it's particularly from this area, but we're going to eat it anyway. I present to you the cloud. A raspberry cloud, to be precise. Oh, it looks like a meringue. It is a meringue. I've just put my finger through it, but let's try it.
There's Kate's fingerprint.
Not that my finger's that big, but that has sweet goo in the middle. You couldn't eat much of it though. It's very filling, very sweet. We left the town of Bakewell in search of a nice pub to enjoy a Sunday roast, and ended up at the Pack Horse Inn, which was a lovely countryside pub where we had some tasty Sunday dinners. I don't eat much meat, so Tig had extra. After that, we decided to go on a walk which Meryl had recommended in the Peak District. Unfortunately, en route, I took a bit of a tumble and had to postpone the walk. I had a little bit of a tumble, so I've had to take a break. I hurt myself quite badly when I slipped, so I'm okay, but our walk has to be postponed. I don't think we're going to make it now tonight because it's going to be dark in 2 hours and the walking total is full all the way, and the locals said we'll probably leave it because it's a bit dangerous when it gets dark, so we might have to put it off till tomorrow. These things happen, huh? We made the best of it and warmed up by the fire, having a nice drink at the pub before heading out for one last walk before the sunset. Thought I'd try and cram in a little evening walk before we go and crash for the night. I am quite bruised and sore, but this looks like a nice little walk. We're about 20 minutes from our hotel and there are some sheep along the path. And you can't beat some sheep action, can you? They make everything better. Despite the weather, we enjoyed the fresh air with some really cool sheep for company. It was finally time to head back to our hotel and get some much needed rest. Next time, we attempt to climb up Pennine Way, exploring more of the Peak District. So until next time guys, take care and we'll see you soon.